Joe DeFalco in the ring, raising up the future, got the belts, got the sweat, endless life in a suplex. Future stars, big dreams, breaking all the seams. Las Vegas stage where the spotlight beams. Arena lights flash bright, warriors of the night. Mat slams, crowd roars, showdown of the might. From the rookies to the pros, grinding day and night. Every step, every fight, honing skills tight. Future stars, destined for the fame. In the ring, they'll carve their name. Blood, sweat, tears, the unending game. Joe DeFalco's legacy, they proudly claim. Body slammers and high flyers, stars on the rise, taking flights off the ropes to the skies. Arm locks, head spin, never compromise. Gold around their waist, the ultimate prize. Hustle hard, dream big, DeFalco's battalion. Ring warriors bred from Lion's Den medallion. Every win, every loss, another step uphill. Forge their own path with an iron will.
Hey everybody, Matt Michaels here on the DeFalco Files with the owner and creator of the Future Stars of Wrestling here in Las Vegas, Mr. Joe DeFalco. Joe, not busy enough for you, I hear.
You know, I have to take a step back after that, hot start with the hot hip-hop track. I've never heard my name mentioned in a song more times in my life.
Well, there you go. That hot AI Swedish band, really has it down for you.
Impressive. Yeah, I was at the kids' class the other day, and one of the dads came in, and he was like, "Oh, I got this thing. It was an AI track." I'm like, not for nothing. I appreciate it, but it's just a little corny for me. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the future. Corny is here to stay. So. All right. This past Saturday, you had the Day of Reckoning. What stood out to you from this past weekend's show?
The Faction Summit, I was surprised to see Kenny King return, and he kind of, he was the dad keeping everybody in check on that one. I was very impressed. You want to talk about the grizzled red? He's got a little grizzled red. He's got that little gray in the beard now, Kenny. But still looking. He's the man. Like you can see, those guys don't want to disappoint Kenny. So that was a nice little surprise because I was not aware Kenny was going to be there until a little bit before the show when they were talking about him. I'm like, "Oh, Kenny's going to be here today." He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's cool."
Well, you do realize he was still on his way to Wednesday's class. It's just that he didn't get there until Saturday night. So
no, well, I'll tell you, it was they were like, "Oh, can we move the match back? I'm not sure. Kenny's getting out of work." I'm like, "We need to make that work, bro." It's like we got stuff that's already set. So, on the injury front, Bodie, young prodigy, he got concussed. In the match. I guess he wasn't even aware of how he climbed to the top rope and hit a 450 to win the match.
Jesus.
So he'll be on the shelf, so he won't be at the Halloween show participating. So, but all overall, everything was going well. I thought Dante King and Luke Curtis was solid. Oasis is obviously knows where his sights are set, and we got that match set. Coming up for the Halloween show. We saw the Unguided with a new team, Pump Line, who were very, very good. It was a good young team that, man, we definitely do have more than enough solid tag teams, but, it's hard to justify not using a good tag team. So they definitely are a good tag team. So it's going to be interesting to see with the Unguided against Transcendence. The perfect night Devil's Night for the Unguided to maybe become tag team champions again. And we're going to announce it right now. Brittany Brooks will defend the title in a stretcher match against Gypsy Mac.
There we go.
It was going to be the casket match, but unfortunately, I found out the casket was basically put 6 feet under. I guess it has seen better days. I guess it ended up last year. It was damaged beyond repair. I went looking for it last week, and I'm like, "Hey, Rocky, where's the casket?" "Oh, we had to throw it out, brother." Like, what do you mean? He was like, "Oh, I guess couldn't close the lid or nothing." I was like, man, first Matt Justice broke the first one by jumping off the top off the apron with an elbow. It's like, dude, why are you breaking our fucking, that guy's broken 2 things. Can't have him in the FSW arena. He's also the one who put the hole in the wall with Jacob Fatu.
Yeah. When you look at the match between what was going on with Jay and Duke, what does Jay's future hold right now?
Again, you reap what you sow. He's the one who had enough confidence in himself, and now he lost. And you got to give Jay credit. He could just walk out. He lives in Florida. He don't have to come back.
Right.
But he ain't burning bridges. He loves it in FSW. And, the thing is, it wasn't like an open-ended thing. It wasn't like, hey, I'm going to be the servant for 30 days. There wasn't a time frame.
Right.
So that's going to be kind of interesting to see where all goes. Bateman couldn't even be there. I'm in the back, and I was talking to somebody, and all of a sudden I heard music playing because I was catching a little bit on the monitor, and I'm like, the match ended? And then it was like, wait, whose fucking music is that? And then it was like, oh, shit, yeah, it was Bateman's music, but Bateman wasn't there.
Well, at least stuff still keeps you on your toes.
So he must have paid off Phil to play the music at a certain point to distract Jay Vidal. And I'm not sure that, Duke needed that help, but he'll take it.
Yeah, sure. It's almost as distracting as MK. So, that works. And what'd you think about the Transcendence and Poor Boys?
Did get a little sloppy at times, but the Po Boys aren't known for their mat classics, so they're gonna ground and pound, and they're gonna try to do whatever they could, and it ain't gonna look pretty. But they had some opportunities, but Transcendence once again came on top, and they've beaten everybody that's been put in front of them. And now we'll see the Unguided, former tag champions. I think a lot of people are excited about that one.
Yeah. It should be very interesting, and we'll see what happens with Matt and Damian if they can take those titles away. What else is lined up for Devil's Night?
Well, now that you ask, we also have San Lu will be defending the Nevada State Championship. We're still working on that. After months of being out, AJ Avon returns.
Oh, wow.
Yes, he'll be making his return in a singles match or a triple threat or whatever, but we're figuring out what's going on. Jaden Cole, he ended up hurting his sternum, and on doctor's notice was out. Yesterday was the first day he came back to train. So, there's a good possibility, the 2 young guns might get an opportunity to be in the ring together. We talked about Gypsy, of course, the Halloween gimmick battle royal, where you're going to see a lot of your favorite wrestlers from wrestling's past return from the heavens, or maybe from the pits of hell, to make another appearance in the Halloween gimmick battle royal, which is always a fan favorite. So we got the No Limits title, Dante King Oasis on the line. We got the Nevada State Championship on the line. We got the Tag Team Championship on the line. And we have the faction versus faction match. The stakes are high for Demir Morningstar. He's the special guest ref, and he's got to decide his own fate. As there you go. That's the good part of having a guy like Kenny King.
Yeah.
In that.
Yeah.
There's no way in hell those 5 guys would have came up with that idea or stipulation to have that match. So now we're intrigued. Is Demir Morningstar going to do the right thing and make the right count? Is he gonna not count for Ice and Braxton? Or is he going to call it down the middle? We've seen many times those troubleshooting referees. And sometimes they do the right thing and sometimes they don't. But, for Demir to be in Lights Camera Faction, he may have to do something that puts the other members of Lights Camera Faction not happy with him. Because if he makes a fast count or does something that costs Ice and Braxton, how are they going to trust that guy?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It's almost like Kenny's giving him a test. And it's not a test for Demir, it's a test for all of them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and sometimes do factions, because we're talking in the mix right now about 6 guys, right? So, I remember way back when the Nation of Domination went from one type of faction to another type of faction. I mean, could we see the end of maybe 1 or 2 members of this particular faction and a new one forming? Essentially, it's a lot of intrigue there. Especially with the egos involved now.
Well, I didn't get to hear everything that was said, but I went back just to check it out. And I'll be honest with you, you could see that there's a lot of inner turmoil. What Fresco said was 1,000% correct. When it first started, Braxton kind of made the rules. Ice came in, he kind of took over. And Fresco, Braxton was still not, he was more like the manager type at the time.
Yeah.
But he still had a lot of the influence because he kind of put it together. But it wasn't like 4 guys and everybody seemingly had an equal vote. It seemed like Braxton and Ice dictated policy. And Fresco and Watson have kind of been there the whole time. Ice was around, but he was ID'd. So there was a lot of times he wasn't around. And WWE had first preference over what was going on. And the faction was kind of pushed to the side. Right. And Watson, if you saw, he was the one, holding fort, wrestling for singles titles and being on all the shows and helping out at Future Shock, wrestling the younger guys. And Fresco would be on commentary if there wasn't, an opportunity for a match. And they kind of, even though they were still the tag team, they were still doing a lot of individual things. So in that time frame, it seems to me that now with Kenny, the faction is, every vote is worth 20%.
Yeah.
And, whoever whoever gets the most votes wins. So it's funny because I said it on commentary. As bad as it got the year prior, it never got as physical as it did the other night.
Yeah.
Because I think in the back of their minds, Fresco and Watson were still subservient to what ICE's demands were or what ICE felt was best for the faction. Now
Right.
it's like it's not me, it's we. It ain't you, it's everyone.
Right.
And I think if they come out of this okay, that they'll be better off than they were before.
Right. Yep. And
So,
again, the question is I mean, you're talking former FSW champion amongst them, a former tag champs, former No Limits champ. I mean, they all have had titles.
well, Kenny, Kenny was a former elite champion, heavyweight champion, the first champion, Ring of Honor, TNA superstar.
Yeah.
And in that time frame with Kenny, that's how those guys. Well, that's how Braxton got his No Limits title.
Right.
So they've all been champions under the tutelage. And, Ice was the No Limits champion, but he needed the faction to become the heavyweight champion. And he also needed the faction to stay No Limits champion back in the day. So,
yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, very, very interesting. Thinking of Brittany and Gypsy and, the literal bad blood that was spilled in the last match they had, stretcher match. It seems like, I mean, are we getting close to the, what is going to have to be a blow off between these two? Because I don't know where you go after a stretcher match other than buried alive or.
Well, that was always an idea, but we can't really dig up the concrete, so that'll be a lot of work. Honestly, I thought the blow off was going to be in the steel cage.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, the First Blood match.
First Blood, yeah.
And we've got one more. Because bottom line is, at luck of the draw, Maserati is already sitting there. Maserati is technically the number one contender, without being the number one contender. She's the former champion. She hasn't lost. She needs to get her title match. So at luck of the draw, the women's championship will be on the line. And the one person that we know will be there isn't even the champion. Yeah. It's Maserati. So the winner of this match will be wrestling Maserati for the championship.
Yeah. Which, Maz should have a chip on her shoulder too, because recollection is she still never lost that belt, right?
That is correct.
Yeah. So, very interesting what's going on in the women's division. Son Lu. So what's the difference between where he was, let's say, about a year or so ago and where he is now? Is, to me, I just think there's something extra now. It seems like he has a fire under him that, is really starting to show that he wants this. And when he is that focused and that invigorated, man, that guy is pretty unstoppable. I think that, if you look at what is considered the quote unquote bloodline now, which Doesn't actually necessarily have to mean that you're bloodline. And boy, you can skyrocket quickly to, some heights, especially when you have friends who are actual bloodline up there. And I could see Hero, Son Lu just kind of aiming towards the ceiling there.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. Obviously, when TBD, they were on that trajectory. They were the tag champions and they were killing it. It was kind of like the idea was Shogun, after his run as the heavyweight champion, that he kind of stepped down
Yeah.
to bring up his friend. So when they become tag team champions, it's looked at as if Hero Sanlu is looking up, hey, thanks, Shogun, for giving me the rub type of thing. And after a while, it probably started to eat at him a little bit because he felt he's the top guy. He just happens to be a top guy that wasn't the heavyweight champion.
Right.
And guys like MK got in his ear. You should be doing this on your own. You're better than that. You're not his lackey. Don't be holding his fucking bags, blah, 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 blah. And he ended up turning on Shogun.
Yep.
And then, we have a tragic accident where, Shogun almost dies. Like, this isn't written. This isn't a story. Like, he got fucked up, and we're talking, the anniversary of Chris Bay's accident is basically about a year ago, like this week.
Right.
And Shogun's was literally the night of Thanksgiving last year. So that was 11 months ago. And from November to January, February, maybe into March, we weren't even sure, how we would even function, let alone wrestle. And, I think that really changed how Hero saw things in life and in wrestling, because at that point, and does it coincide? I don't know. But Hero took time off, and he was kind of not even part of FSW around that time. Like he did like a Rumble match he might have did last year, but that was one of the last things he did.
Right.
And he was gone in that time period. So now I think, he's reinvigorated. His friend that he turned on, that had made amends, they're all good. But you know what? They're all good. But now Hero, he's got a destiny, and now he's become a singles champion, and he's the guy that many people can see carrying the torch and being the FSW heavyweight champion down the line.
Yeah.
And there's no more shadow, because he's a pretty big shadow, Shogun, for Hero, who in most cases, you look at that guy and you say, that guy has a shadow. He should be standing alone. But just because of the way things are, it's kind of like, the Bay crew. You're in Bay's shadow when you were there. And there was Cepha and Shogun and Hero. Hero was like, the little guy in terms of, clout when it came to those guys who hung out together and stuff. So now Hero gets to stand on his own. And, we have the moment when Shogun came back, he basically kicked MK's army to the curb. Yeah. And now he's standing tall. Now the question becomes, who's getting that shot at Hero or San Lu? And, where does he go from there?
Yeah. So Fresco wants it known that the Faction Summit is the only thing we need to talk about.
Well, yeah, we just did for about 10 minutes. If Fresco wants to chime in, he could come in. You know what I mean?
uh, so when you look at the luck of the draw coming up on the 23rd, and you look, talking more faction, Ice, you got Kenny King, you got Shogun, we just talked about, you got Graves and Hammerstone, you got Remy Marcel, of course, Chris Bay is the special guest host. Killer Cross is back. Um, when you look at all these champions, any champions that so far you've kind of looked at and maybe tried to reach out to or couldn't get a hold of? Is there anyone that maybe got overlooked or possibly might be coming back depending on schedule?
Well, obviously, Danny Limelight felt like he got overlooked because he cut a scathing promo
Yep.
about what about him. And, I didn't forget about Danny, but I thought he was retired
Yeah, sure.
from wrestling in Vegas, because I know he wasn't retired from wrestling because I've been seeing him all over the place.
Yeah.
But so we've been chatting, so we been talking with Kevin a little bit, so hopefully something in that manner will happen. But the funny thing is, it's like we're still more than 4 weeks away. We're still more than a
Yep.
month and away. That's how much promotion we've gotten out early
Right.
for this. So there's a lot of time left, and it's like I keep putting together the mock, people have the mock drafts. I have the mock Rumble list. And, I pull the mock Rumble list and it's like, wow, I got probably 40 names. So it's like, okay, well, here's a good way to add 3 or 4 names. Fresco and Watson could go in together.
Right.
Sky High could go in together. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like
Oh,
if you're not in
yeah.
a tag match and you're a legit tag team, well, I kind of created that a few years ago where, 4 guys from the faction all came out together. And it's
Right.
like, well, what's the sense of having this group that when you have this Rumble match, they don't work together and they're all random 1, 12, 17, and 26? Well, the fact that they're a faction in the most important match or in a group, they don't get to work together in it. So I'm like, hey, I think I got a good little idea and concept, and everybody seemed to, like that idea.
Yeah. I think that actually works wonderfully. Um, and it really is. It has to be hard looking at, all these names and trying to figure out how the puzzle pieces fit because,
Right,
um,
because you're trying to get the younger kids done
yeah,
that have really worked hard. I'll tell you right now, Jaden Cole's in the match.
sure,
I'll tell you, obviously, Bodie's in the match. Duke's not the Nevada State champion anymore, so he's
right,
going to be in the match. And then we have, the 6 champions. So,
yeah.
the
So
first
you're
20
you're
are
already at you're already at 10,
right.
essentially right there.
But you can count in your head. It's like, okay, if you take away the tag teams, all right, who's going to have title matches? Because we have women in the match. So if Maserati's wrestling the winner of Brittany and Gypsy, there's a good chance the loser of that match will be in the Rumble match.
Right.
I can tell you right now, Zamaya will be in the Rumble match.
Nice.
I can tell you he wasn't available, but Luke Curtis, the winner of the Battle Royal, the Nick Bockwinkel Battle Royal, he will be in the Rumble match. And, the future shot guys who are getting to be wrestling, regardless of everything, Davion Jaco, Demir Morningstar, Adrian Rain. There's 3 more names that'll be, so I could get close to 20 just naming off my top of my head. Kevin Koa will be in the Rumble match. So,
and that's not. These are just names that are, currently on the roster. People that this isn't like throw in a surprise like a Juicy or something like that. Even
right, and that's all possibilities because right now we're locking in January. Juicy's company is coming to Vegas. And they're going to be, we're waiting for the announcement, but he hit me up a couple times. I'm wondering if he's trying to piggyback it off a Power Slap appearance on the Friday, because I believe it was like January 10th or 11th or something. He's looking to do something. Yeah. So there's numerous people from the past. I always got, Tito Escondido on speed dial.
Sure.
And Tito would have Che on speed dial. And, now that they lost, Jimmy Jack and Chase Bell would probably be in the Rumble. And but now I'm over 20.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, is Young Money, maybe they'll be in a pre-show. I don't know, because I can't put 10 tag teams in the Rumble. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like, well, what about the Asylum? And what about Oliver Kennedy? And what about Sanders? And, what about the guys on Future Shock? Oh, Brandon G, Ricky Tenacious. I guess they'll be in as a tag team. So the 30 becomes 35, but I was already thinking of going to 35, which might mean 40 people will get to be in the Rumble.
Yeah.
But, to make sure the time's exactly the same, instead of 1 minute intervals, we'll do 53-second intervals. That way it saves 7 seconds on 40 guys. That's 280 seconds. That's 4 minutes and 35 seconds shaved off. 4 minutes and 40 seconds shaved off the top.
But the question is Santana still in the back doing his makeup while he's being announced?
He still wasn't eliminated.
Yes.
Right. And maybe we'll give Santana Jackson the opportunity to redeem himself.
Right. Yeah, it's fascinating. Again, it's when you look at it, I can't stress enough how competitive it is in terms of, man, when you get out there and you get a chance to perform now, whether it's on a Future Shock, whether it's on a show at FSW, whether it's on a casino show, you have to perform. You have to come through, man.
And I'll tell you what, right now, Cross has got a match.
Right.
Sharp will wrestle the winner of the Rumble.
Right.
The women have a match.
Right.
Okay. That's 4 matches. The tag team titles will be on the line. That's 5 matches.
Right.
That leaves room for 1 match.
Yeah.
But there's also the Nevada State Championship and the No Limits Championship. So at least one of those will not be defended. So whoever the champion is will be in the Rumble.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other fascinating thing too is that Sharp, he defends it against the winner of the Rumble. So that's one match that has a spot taken away from, someone. It's occupied by the winner of someone who's already in the Rumble. So that's another spot technically gone for one person.
Right. And then on the 30th, Dante King wrestles Jordan Oasis. Whoever loses that match is guaranteed to be in the Rumble.
Right. Yeah.
Because either or will be in the Rumble.
Right.
So that's another spot.
Yeah.
So then you got these fringe guys, and there's Future Shock guys that, as of right now, they're in the match. But now, if all of a sudden I make a call like I did with Graves, and a
Yeah.
name from the past pops up, that spot will be now no longer go to
Right.
that future shot guy.
Right. So,
So
so maybe that future shot guy should dress up like one of the guys that potentially could take their spot at the Halloween battle royal. And then in case that person no shows, they'll be ready to go on as them.
it's possible. If Brandon Gatson hits me up and says, I'm going to be in Vegas, what you doing on the 23rd? I'm like, well, I guess you're going to be in the Rumble.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see Brandon
all
back,
former champions are welcome. You know what I mean? If I got a former champion wants to hit me up.
And we haven't even talked like Mazzani being back. So
Dave Mazzani is like, I'm pretty sure he's set, but I haven't talked to him in a couple of weeks. But Dave Mazzani will be in the Rumble. As of right now, Class in Reno,
right? Yeah.
Will most likely be in the Rumble.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, think back to Diversion and the 2-night anniversary show and the bringing the Rumble back for the first time since COVID. As big as that seemed then, you look at this now a number of years later and you go, man, if you thought the talent 4 or 5 years ago was huge, now it's insane. It's
yeah, how nice would it have been to have Toa Leona and Juicy and EC3 in the Rumble this year.
Right. Oh man. Well, I think he can still get Toa, right?
Oh, we've discussed the Boricua Puerto Rican show already, Mania Week, and he seemed quite interested. So,
yeah. I mean, talk about guys who are doing some good stuff.
Yeah, being put with Ricochet, but they've really evolved. You know what I mean? Yeah. They were just like, they were there, but now they actually got some substance behind them. Yeah. And Khan has a great look.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's given Ricochet a chance to have, his personality and boost those guys as well. And it's fun to see the potential that was just kind of floating around now kind of get tapped, and you start going, oh yeah,
everybody likes to talk about WWE, AEW, this sucks, that's great, blah blah blah. The most important difference for the wrestlers is in WWE when they would sign somebody like Khan and Toa, instead of being on the main roster and barely ever appearing and being as green as they are and not getting any experience, they would have been in NXT wrestling week after week after week. Yeah. So I believe AEW stunted the growth of guys like Jungle Boy and Toa and all these guys that they kept on the roster, but they never really used because there was no room for them. They wrote them off. They were done. They were getting paid. Look at Brian Cage for a year. Look at Lance Hoyt. Yeah. Look at all these guys that they didn't utilize. You could have had Toa and Khan as tag team champions 2 years ago if 4 years ago you had them in a developmental program where they actually wrestled all the time.
Yeah.
If you never wrestle, how do you get better?
Yeah.
And that's what I always didn't understand when I hit up Jungle Boy when he got signed. It was during the pandemic, so they weren't doing shows barely to begin with, and they weren't barely using them. And it was like, so here's this 21, 22-year-old kid who's trying to break out, and now we're stopping him from having any matches. Where's he training? It isn't like there's a facility like with WWE, everybody's in Florida. Like he
Right.
was in his house probably up in Sacramento area waiting for a call. But
Yeah.
he wasn't training and he wasn't wrestling. Maybe he had a random wrestling school that he went to, but he wasn't going to jeopardize his contract
Right.
and he didn't get an opportunity to wrestle. And now we're seeing Toa. Wow, he's here now.
Yeah.
Well, if he would have wrestled all those shows in a row, wow, maybe in 2023 he could have broke out
Right.
and they could have broke out as a tag team instead of just being in the 6-man with Brian Cage when they felt like doing that match. And now he gets to wrestle in a match that has MVP, Shelton Benjamin, and fucking Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
Like, how great is that?
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. And I think your next Mecca, I think you just came up with a great match. Cage and Hoyt versus the Gates of Agony. That'd be
Yeah,
a lot of beef.
I'll tell you what, people who know me saying that I think Lance Hoyt's one of the nicest people I've ever met. I love Lance Hoyt. Super nice guy.
Yeah.
And Cage is okay too,
Yeah. Yeah.
He gives me the wife discount, you know what I mean?
Right. Oh man, and talk about two of the cutest kids on this planet, man. Cage and Melissa got two damn cute kids. It's
What are you
amazing.
saying? Cage is in all his other wives' kids that he has with aren't?
Well, I'm
That
just
what you're
saying.
trying to say?
Kind
Kind of rude right there. You can get
if I
canceled for something like that.
if I would have seen the other kids, that'd be great. I'm just saying, these are kids right in front of me. I can see them.
Oh, okay. There you go. Good way.
Uh.
Good save.
All right.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Man.
Look at this. I got to talk about it before we wrap up in a little bit here. So on Monday, November 24th at 8 p.m., there is going to be a night with Killer Cross. It's an intimate evening with a killer, which is it's just brilliant. So tickets on sale, $100. What can people expect? And is this just? I'm assuming this is something that we could see sell out fairly quickly because of the space. Yeah.
Yeah, you would hope. I think if it does okay, then it's definitely something we're going to maybe want to do WrestleMania weekend when thousands and thousands of fans. Because not that I want to compare myself to Kevin in any way, but me and Kevin are similar in terms of when we're talking about things, we don't try to like sugarcoat it. We don't try to avoid. If I got an issue, I'm saying it and I'm naming it. And Kevin just popped the documentary yesterday. I didn't get a chance to see it yet. I caught like a glimpse of it. He sent it to me because I was telling him about, showing him the flyer. I get it. You want to have an intimate night with The Undertaker and you're going to pay $500 at the Fountain Blue. He's going to tell you the stories that he wants to tell you.
Right.
Kevin, especially in Las Vegas, people know him from before he was a star. So he has no problem being open and honest. And as you see now, he'll go on every podcast and he'll tell you how it is. When I thought the idea of what was going on was a work and he would tell me stuff, 2 months later, you found out that what he told me was the God's honest truth, So it's not only just Kevin talking about, his start, which everybody knows in FSW and, training with Disco. And that's how we got in with Conan and TNA and all this other stuff. But Kevin is going to take questions from the fans and answer your questions as honestly as he's always done. So that's something I'm pretty sure the Undertaker isn't going to sit and do. And, he's got that mystique about him. Kevin has that mystique about him, but it's weird because he's able to turn that off and be upfront and honest and tell it like it is.
Yeah.
And, Atox messaged me like, hey, Zeke hit me up about the cross thing. What do you think about having a couple of matches? And I'm like, well, that could be something like as a pre-show. We could write, do a couple of matches, which got me to thinking. And I mentioned it to Kevin because the idea is Kevin's going to come in Monday, and at 5 o'clock, we're going to have Kevin Cross do a seminar with the younger kids.
Sure.
And, Kevin ain't going to charge a lot of money. He ain't going to go when you see on the internet, you see guys that are marginal trying to charge $100 for a fucking seminar. It's ridiculous.
Right.
So, we're probably going to be in the $40 range. Make Kevin a little extra money since he's coming in on the short for me.
Right.
and helps us get some money back by him doing what he's doing for us.
Right.
And it's like, well, come to the seminar and maybe we're going to pick, a couple of guys from the seminar to get a match.
Sure. That's actually a great idea. Yeah.
And we've done that in the past when it's been like, hey, Jushin Liger.
Right.
He ended up picking in, funnily enough, was Carl Fredericks, who ended up going to the New Japan Dojo, and Rocky Romero was there with them. He was already on the card, so we had to pick somebody else, but that's how Spider got on the show.
Right.
That, I guess Liger was big on Cheeseburger back in the day at Ring of Honor.
Right.
And he liked the character and he liked the gimmick and he liked the Spider Warrior,
Yeah.
And those are where it opens the doors for people to get opportunities that, not all the time you're going to. But the idea is also Kevin will sit there and critique that pre-show match. I don't think we'll do 2 matches. I think maybe we do a triple threat or something.
Yeah.
One match is good, warm up the crowd, and then Kevin can, basically critique him in front of the fans. And, and say what he looks at and what does the Fed look at and what are the companies looking for and how to be seen, because look at our roster. There's a lot of really good wrestlers. So why did Jay Vidal get picked to be in TNA? And why did Jay Vidal get picked to be kind of not used in TNA and had to be asking for his release? You know what I mean? Or, why did Chris Bay explode? And, but in the beginning, he was always putting over X Division guys until they finally decided that he'd be a guy that they were going to invest in and he was going to get the belt. And how did the tag team? This is something we could do with a Chris Bay that is just as available. We have guys that transcend wrestling, especially independent wrestling.
Oh, it's definitely a big roster. It's
too big sometimes.
Yeah.
But, and that's the good thing because, again, look at the show this past weekend. Hey, Bateman wasn't there. Sharp wasn't there. The Class and Reno weren't there. The Suavecitos, the Mariachis. It's like, man, anybody else is doing a show that has those guys on their roster. If I eliminate those guys, man, you got a lot of Future Shot guys on a show that's not supposed to be Future Shot.
Right. That's very true. Yeah.
So, we're excited, man. It's like we got stuff going on this week, with WOW. And then next week, starting on Monday, the LFC is going to be using the facility to train. And then on Thursday, we got, the Halloween show. And then on Friday, the Made Fight Leagues, they got an event at our facility. And Friday, also, the LFC, they needed the venue. So Shakur's got a place called Club 828 that I'm working with him with. And the LFC is going to be there for Friday night. And now we have a new comedy show called Saturday Night Raw Saturday at midnight with a guy, Diaz Mackey, I'm friends with, through a guy, Scratch, who used to be one of our managers. And we were doing some skit with something, and it was Mackey, Steen and Associates, which Diaz's last name's Mackey. And I always knew him from that. He enjoyed wrestling. And we've stayed Facebook friends because this was at the old school. So I haven't seen him up until about 2 weeks ago. For the first time, I've seen him physically in person in probably 12 years. But we've talked, and we're trying to do some stuff, squared circle comedy or whatever at the FSW arena. But now we got a venue that's got a bar. And November 1st at midnight, we're going to be starting up a comedy show. And we're going to try to keep it like, wrestling oriented, the Shocker, and maybe an RVD or Getting Morrison. But it's going to be, a full-blown comedy show. And, so hopefully our idea of doing stuff and Beers and Body Slams will probably be at that place also, the Club 828. And, we're working on the date with that. And maybe, hey, we have the show first, the wrestling event, into the comedy show. Keeps people there. You know what I mean? And, it takes me back to my youth, when I was a youth back in the day, running the nightclub and the tracked acts and having, the Stevie B's and the cover girls and all that stuff. And, getting back into promoting a little bit.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate with the success of FSW, have met a lot of people over the years, and, now it looks like maybe that'll come to fruition to be able to expand what I'm doing with FSW and involve myself, because we have some ideas about the Beers and Body Slams to really make it different than just, I went to FSW last week. Why would I go to this? Well, to be more of a, all age kind of entertainment event. Hood Slam's done a great job of that up in NorCal, where they draw so many people and most of them aren't really wrestling fans.
Yeah. Yep.
We've had this concept in the brain for many years, trying to do stuff over at the Hustler Club when we worked with them a little bit, when they did the midget wrestling, and trying to do it at the Beers and Body Slams. So it's like, might as well strike when the iron's hot, because it seems like wrestling now is back into that core culture, that the cult classics, and wrestling is now come around full circle to where people are giving a shit about it. So it's like, if we can incorporate the music and the comedy and all aspects of entertainment, I think we might have a winner. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, again, you got to strike while that iron's hot, because when it ebbs and flows, man, and sometimes when it hits that dead period, it's hard. And now it's exciting because everyone wants to see wrestlers live, which is great because it's another generation of kids.
Oh, and lest I forget, because I know we talked a little bit about it on April 10th. I had mentioned that we're going to be working with the Henderson Silver Knights once again.
Yes. Right.
Okay. So yesterday, ATOX sent me a message, and it was, they already advertising it. It's a wrestling night presented by SMI. Get ready for high-flying action-packed night at the Silverton as the Silver Knights host Wrestling Night, presented by SMI. Experience the thrill of live wrestling right in the heart of Henderson alongside your favorite hockey plays. Don't miss exclusive in-game appearances from local wrestling stars. And it's like, so I had a message Chandler, the guy, and it was like, hey, I saw this. Somebody sent me. I'm assuming this is our stuff, correct? Oh yeah, we'll get your name mentioned. And it's like, okay, let people know. It's like, how about you let me know when you're announcing it so we can put it out there and share it? You know what I mean? We're excited about it. I know it's a long ways away, so I didn't think they were going to start promoting it in October.
Right.
But
right.
yeah, so it's going to be a Friday night, April 10th, a week before WrestleMania. They're playing San Jose. And, guys like, they're very fond of Bodie. They like the young kid.
Right.
So he'll probably be there, Vandegrift, and a few of our favorites trying to get, the Kennys of the world and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, as I said, striking while the iron's hot.
Yeah.
And this is something that and now we're going to discuss it, because my thought was we were going to do it in the atrium where we did it, which looks great. You got the thing overhead and everything's down there. It looks fantastic. Right. But if it's the hockey game, why can't we put, carpet or whatever right after the game, and boom, we can bang out that ring and put it in front and center in probably 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We'll have full staff there. So we're going to have that discussion. It would be fantastic to be right in the main room where the hockey is going on, because it's going to be, I guess it's during intermission and things like that, because I've also pitched to them wanting to do a show in conjunction where we could do it with, so that's the next step, doing a show with the indoor football team. Their game ends, they do an afternoon game, 2:00, game ends at 4:30, boom, 5:30 start time, included in your ticket. We run a full-fledged like Mecca type show.
Yeah.
But we don't do that in the atrium. We do that on the main floor, because it's already got.
It's the floor is set. It's not the ice.
Yeah, it's the artificial turf or whatever.
Right.
So we don't have to worry about the ice. So so hopefully that's something we can really progress with and keep that relationship, because we've done stuff with them the last couple of years already. Probably about 3 years probably now we've worked with and it ain't working with the Silver Knights, it's working with the people who run, which was the Dollar Loan Center Lee's Family Forum. So it was with Omar, who was a fan who came to the show, got to meet at Morrison, and we met, and now he's running their soccer team in New Zealand.
It's crazy.
But we've still kept the relationship. So it's, the guy, the CEO, the guy who runs the arena, loves the wrestling. So it's like, okay, well, give us a good show for a way better price than you're telling us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't want that AEW price.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But you'll take the AEW fan size though.
Oh, for sure.
Just remember here, coming up on Thursday, October 30th, will be the Devil's Night at FSW Arena, 7 p.m. start time.
Yeah. So, like I said, a bunch of titles are going to be on the line. We got a stretcher match. The Unguided looking to recapture the gold. Former tag champ AJ Avon. He sold a bunch of tickets. He's got, it's his first match back in months. Yeah. So he's excited. Bodie probably will not be there, as I said,
Yeah.
But, maybe Shogun will show up. Maybe, we got the faction versus the faction. In the Halloween gimmick battle royal, I got Thad talking about coming as China. We got Christian, who really looks like Dirty Dom. I said, you're young, you haven't trained that much, but you're doing pretty well. If you come as Dirty Dom, then we'll let you be in the battle royal.
And who knows? That's a Thursday night. Maybe Dirty Dom will be in town and actually show up to see.
I'm gonna hit him up now that you mentioned it.
Yeah. Actually, that's something that Dominic would just really fucking enjoy to see someone.
I'll tell him he can bring his crew from San Diego, and they can roll around in the ring right after the show.
Yeah. Oh man. All right, final words before we wrap up.
Day of Reckoning went very well. We continue the hot streak of great things happening at FSW. We got a lot happening the next, pretty much till WrestleMania week.
Yeah.
Working on a new date for No Escape that we're looking back, hopefully late January, early February on that. And, we are 9 days away, annual Halloween show, always a fan favorite. It's always good to see some of the fans. We know the Furman crew. I can't say, but they've let me know what they are going to dress as or who they're going to dress as. Nice. Interesting concept. If you ever remember, it was the Three Faces of Foley.
Sure.
It's going to be similar to that with a FSW wrestler who's been with us a very long time, who a lot of people have said has had many character let's say he's evolved many different times.
Yes.
So they're going to be, I believe it's going to be the Four Faces of, and now you have to come to the show to see.
Nice. That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, this is exciting. Again, it is going to be on the 30th for Devil's Night. And of course, Luck of the Draw at Silverton on the 23rd, 5 p.m. local time. Yeah, it's amazing. And now we'll let you get back to the various text messages of.
I've been doing it while the show was on. People are asking me. I guess Jimmy Jack overslept because he was there till 5 a.m. yesterday, and he was supposed to be back at 9 o'clock. And then it turned out he didn't make it, so I had to scramble to try to get somebody. And God bless him, he had to take a bus, and it took a while. But he needed to work, wanted to work. And we got him there, but trying to make sure they match up because it's not where the ring is; it's a different place. And then so if you're near downtown tonight and tomorrow night, they're taping their final 2 episodes, which is probably their final 16 episodes. Yeah. Probably like 12 episodes each day.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So the entire year got so half the year got taped last week, and the second half of the year. So if you want to watch the spoiler alert, maybe you can find a Vegas casino that'll take action on it.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell Dave McClain that he better get Jeannie Buss to make sure betting is allowed on WOW. And if he does that, I'll get him the ring crew for free.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, there you have it, everyone. Until next time, enjoy the week. And
you might even see me there. I might even pop in to say hello to Dave and his friend Jeannie.
Yeah, absolutely right. That little known Jeannie Buss.
Yes. See if she wants to invest 0.0001 of the money she made from the Lakers sale.
Right. There you go. All right, everyone. Until next time, happy wrestling, everybody.